Will the market go up or down? Should you lock in or float? Find out this and more with Master of the Markets, hosted by Barry Habib of MBS Highway. Brought to you by United Wholesale Mortgage.
Is TRID slowing you down? Not if you're closing with UWM. While other lenders are struggling, we're closing most TRID loans in 15 days or less, thanks to easy-to-use tools like UClose and Ease, and direct communication from submission to close. Get United at UWM.com.
Welcome to Master of the Markets. I'm Barry Habib at MBS Highway. This is created exclusively for Mortgage News Network. A lot to talk about with you this week, so let's start off with the Fed. There was 17 Fed members, only 10 of them vote. And at the last statement, Janet Yellen was really pretty dovish in her assessment of things, where she kind of, first of all, said that the Fed was looking now not instead of 4 rate hikes for the year, 2. I couldn't see how they could do 4 initially anyway, but kind of really cutting that back. And really that dovish tone carried through everything, saying that inflation was really low and maybe by 2017 we might get 2% inflation. Pretty unrealistic in my opinion. I think we might get 2% inflation in a couple of months. In fact, if you take a look at some of the indicators, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, that's already at 2.3%. And next week, we're going to get the PCE number, the personal consumption expenditure that the Fed really looks closely at. That's doubled recently. It's up to 1.7%, and I anticipate that'll go up again, predominantly due to what we're seeing in oil prices. Not only are oil prices been moving up a little bit of late, but when you compare it to where they were a year ago, the year-ago comparison number has come down rather significantly. So instead of comparing it to $100 a barrel oil, now you're comparing it to when it was 60 or 55. So the effect of lower oil price is much less of a weight on inflation. So therefore, we're seeing inflation kind of start to move up slowly, but certainly be above that Fed's 2% target. Now, in addition to that, when we take a look at the stock market, I think it's very interesting to see the stock market's had a huge rise of late, as you're well aware. If you go back to February 10th, you're talking about in a short period of time, over 15% gain on the S&P. That's an enormous run-up. But the thing of it is that investors, as measured by their sentiment, have gotten pretty complacent and pretty happy about the market. Now listen to this because it's very important. As far as bullish sentiment, in other words, individuals or investors who feel that the market will continue higher, they're bullish on the stock market, they want to buy right here. That sentiment level has risen to the highest it has been since June of 2015. Now in June of 2015, the market kind of churned sideways for a little bit, and then you might recall at the end of July, early August, had a pretty significant decline. Now when we take a look at bearish sentiment, the amount of people that are bearish on the market think the stock market's going to come down, that number has shrunk to the lowest level since December. And as you may recall, end of December, beginning of January, big drop in stock prices that lasted all the way to February. And then the spread between bulls and bears, the difference between how many bullish sentiments out there and bearish sentiments, that spread has widened to the greatest level since August of 2015, right before that huge drop that we'd seen lower. Now, does this make us feel that is a 100% chance that stock prices will decline? Of course not, but it's clearly a warning sign that at this point in time, at these prices, after this big run-up, with S&P profits declining, with revenues flat, with the stock market now near all-time highs once again, and sentiment being at these extraordinarily high levels for bullishness and low levels for bearishness, there is a good reason to believe that the stock market might be due for a move lower. We bring this up because, as we know, kind of like a seesaw, when stocks do poorly, bonds do well, and that could mean much lower interest rates ahead if we do see this decline in the stock market. So these are important things for us to keep an eye on, because I do think that the stock market probably due for at least a pause here, maybe a drop lower. That should help interest rates. And from what we've seen of late, interest rates kind of have moved a little bit higher. We could see a nice move lower in rates, and that would be quite welcome for all of us. With regards to the employment picture, we do get the jobs number next week, and that'll be close to watch because that will also be something that's weighing very much on the Fed. And as I said, the Fed has kind of a mutiny on their hands a little bit, because now of the 17 members, 4 of them have really raised their hand and kind of gone against Janet Yellen and saying that they feel that this is the time to hike rates. Now remember, the last time rates were hiked, what happened in December 16th? Shortly thereafter, stocks did very poorly, bonds did very well. So if we do see a rate hike in the wings, probably be good news for the interest rate environment. All right, if you want to follow this daily, you really should get on MBS Highway. Take us up on that free trial. Click on the link. You can't go wrong. We'll give you this information every single day, alert you ahead of a reprice situation. And more importantly, we'll script you on what to say to your customers every single day, give you a reason to call them, call your realtors, and help along with what's going on, especially in the housing market, which, by the way, we did get some really good numbers last week in housing, especially when we take a look at inventory levels, which are very tight. That's good for price appreciation. And currently, we're heading into some of the best months of the year. This could be a real opportunity to be a buyer. We'll follow along those housing numbers. There's going to be more next week. We'll give you some details on it, but why not get it every day as it breaks? Just sign up for MBS Highway. Hope you guys have a great day.
At UWM, our AEs receive over 500 hours of training each year to keep you current with the industry. We give you direct access to your own team of underwriters who return your calls in 3 hours or less. And we provide exclusive products and tools that give your business a competitive edge. In fact, everything we do at UWM is dedicated to championing your success, which is why more brokers choose UWM than any other lender. World-class service, exclusive products, groundbreaking tools, and you. Get united with us at UWM.com.
This is Mortgage News Network.